In this next video, I'd like to take you on a tuk-tuk adventure through Battambang, Cambodia. But know that this is part one of a two-part series on what there is to see and do in and around Battambang. Part two will be dedicated to riding the infamous bamboo train, and I guarantee you're not going to want to miss that episode. So stick around. Hey there, Ralph Velasco of the Continental Drifter, where I share simple but powerful tips designed to make your travels easier and more interesting, and your photography even better. If you're new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Know that everything I talk about will be linked in the description below. All right, let's do this. Remember, drifters, life's too short not to travel. I've said it before, but I'm often asked what my favorite country is. While this is virtually impossible to say, Cambodia is always near the top of that list. Since I first visited this Southeast Asian country back in 2012, I've absolutely been in love with its food, culture, history, scenery, and especially its incredibly friendly and open people. Cambodia's nickname is the Kingdom of Wonder, and it's just so fitting. It's relatively small but incredibly rich in variety, and there are so many stories I could tell about all of my experiences there. But in keeping with time, in this video, I'm only going to concentrate on some of the experiences I've had alone and with my groups in and around a town called Battambang. Battambang is a rather nondescript town located just 5 or 6 hours by car from Phnom Penh, Cambodia's capital city. It's a great place to stop for a few nights on our way around the Tonle Sap Lake as we head to Siem Reap, home of Angkor Wat, and some other great sites which I'll highlight in future videos. Battambang is a walkable and very safe town that has some really nice restaurants, a wonderful boutique hotel where we stay, and a small open-air market offering some really great photo opportunities. One of my absolute favorite things to do on our Cambodia trips is to arrange what I call tuk-tuk adventures. I simply hire a number of these very popular open-air forms of transportation found everywhere in Cambodia. Of course, they come with knowledgeable drivers, one of whom in Battambang is my local guide and friend Boren. Early in the morning, just after breakfast, our group ventures off into the outskirts of Battambang to see what interesting people, scenery, and other activities we can find. And on my Cambodia Kingdom of Wonder trip, we do this in a number of other parts of the country. Getting an early start, as you know, allows us to be out before the heat of the day in better light, as well as to get ahead of any other groups who might have the same idea, although we rarely see another tourist on these days out, which is fine by me. Just some of the things we see and do along the way include stopping to see how they make sticky rice in bamboo. This is a really interesting process that our local guide will spend time explaining to us. We can, of course, lend a hand if wanted, and we certainly get a chance to try some of the finished product, which is a sticky, somewhat sweet and starchy treat that is extremely popular throughout Cambodia. There are many different recipes, but it mostly starts with a base of glutinous rice, coconut milk, sugar, and some salt. The hot mass is then put into hollow bamboo shoots and roasted on an open fire until the bamboo is charred black. Then it's removed from the fire and you peel back the sides of the bamboo, almost like a banana, to reveal the sticky goodness inside. And it's regularly eaten with the hands and shared with others. Along the way, we also stop at a market where they gather, store, and process fish used for prahok, a popular paste used as the base for cooking in a wide variety of Cambodian dishes and made from crushed, salted, and fermented river fish. It's definitely worth a stop to see this amazing place, but it is a working market, so be careful. There are huge piles of fish ready to be turned into prahok, and men and women and even small boys processing them, so do be careful and stay out of the way. Here's a pro tip. Having learned the hard way, for this day out, I recommend that my people either wear an old pair of shoes that they don't mind ruining, or buy an inexpensive pair of closed-toed plastic shoes from the local market in Battambang just for this use. I suggest this because walking in the market to see or photograph, your shoes are sure to get wet and very smelly with the ever-present fish juices all around. Speaking of which, if the strong smell of fish turns you off, this may not be a stop you'd want to make. There's plenty of other things to see and do if this isn't your thing. Closed plastic shoes that can be rinsed off easily are ideal. And if you're going to keep them, I recommend bringing a plastic bag to store them in until you get back to your hotel. At times, if someone doesn't want to keep their shoes, we'll even give them to our drivers for them or their families to use, and they're always appreciative. Another wonderful stop along the way is to see local families making rice paper. This is an interesting process that involves grinding rice and combining it with water until it forms a thin liquid paste. Then it's evenly spread, typically with the bottom of a bowl, over a heated metal disc. When it sets, which takes no time at all, it's gingerly peeled up and put on small pieces of bamboo and then carefully set on bamboo mats to dry. Finally, it's stacked and sold to other families, shops, and restaurants. And around lunchtime, we stop at a place that makes the most wonderfully fresh spring rolls using the recently made rice paper. These, along with a nice cold Encore or Leo beer, is simply heaven. Some of the other activities we've seen and stopped for along the way include men pounding out machetes in a blacksmith shop. You just never know what you might stumble upon. At times, depending on our route, we'll stop at Golden Bridge to get a different perspective of one of the nearby rivers. And one time, we even had a drone that allowed us to get an overview of the area. Question of the day. Have you ever ridden in a tuk-tuk? Have you ever been to Cambodia? Have you been to Battambang specifically? Let us know in the comments below. Well, I sure hope you enjoyed this video about just some of the things that there are to see and do in and around Battambang, Cambodia. And if you did, please share it with other great travelers just like you. And do let me know in the comments if you want to see more like it, and give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss an episode. Next, head on over to the continentaldrifter.co website for more interesting travel and photography tips and to get my latest download. Finally, be sure to join our community over on Facebook and to follow me on all the social media outlets. And remember, drifters, life's too short not to travel.